No, we're not stopping because you lose your edge. Do you all leave me tomorrow? Aleyna and Chris's lifestyle is based on our production, not on you. I don't need you to produce.
Before we started our mortgage company together, he was gone a lot of the time. So he'd be gone by 6 a.m. I wouldn't see him until 8 or 9 at night. He was training real estate, doing all this stuff, but it was outside of our home.
Well, welcome to the Date Your Wife podcast, and we're here live in our home again for the final couple episodes before we move to Miami. We've got a lineup for you over the next 6 weeks. We pull this off, and today we are here to bring yet another powerhouse couple. This couple comes at you from the Middle East. We've discovered this before the show. They have lots of nationality from around the world. They actually sell playing cards. This is their business. They deal in the game of money. So got Chris here from Grove Capital.
Grove Capital.
Grove Capital. You guys built this thing together?
We did, yeah.
You did? Who started this thing? Which one of you two started
I'll let
this?
her answer so I don't get in trouble.
Oh, well, it's funny because mortgage was always my thing. So I was a mortgage broker and he was a real estate broker. And then, he always says that he never thought that he would get into the mortgage industry. And somehow I looped him in.
Oh, wow.
Were you guys dating while you were in two different industries? Were you together, both married at the time?
Dating and then married.
So did you know each? So you were both you were in mortgages and you were in real estate prior to meeting?
Yes and no. So she was in lending. I started off as an appraiser, and then she talked to me and become a real estate agent. I was like, great, another real estate agent in California. There's about 1 billion of those. So, so you should do it. I'm like, all right. So I did. And then we started doing a lot of deals back and forth together. And the one thing I realized.
But you weren't connected yet.
Well, we were dating.
Yeah, we were dating. We were dating. Yeah.
Yeah. Where we meet?
Guess. So Chris and I met on Match.com, which a lot of people, kind of think it's, I don't know if it's unusual anymore just because everyone meets online. But I think for us 14 years ago, it was definitely very unusual to meet online. But yeah, 14 years, it's crazy. I can't believe it. 2 kids later and...
You didn't have the filters they have now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was like pure.
You weren't catfish. You're like, okay, I like him. This is good. Were you guys both from San Diego or... Like, is that where you met?
Yeah. So in San Diego.
Aleyna's from San Diego.
And and you're from?
I'm from Wisconsin. So I'm from a very small town called Valders, Wisconsin. It's 942 people.
Oh, wow.
So we had a Piggly Wiggly and a gas station.
No one knows what a Piggly Wiggly is, though.
Shop the pig. You gotta get the advertisements in here. Shop the pig.
Piggly Wiggly is like a convenience
I was like, is that
store,
a
right?
gas station?
Yeah, it's
Is
like
it a gas station?
store.
It's like it's weird, right?
I'm thinking like a Circle K, but it's just called Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, but that was like the eventful thing in their town, right? Because it was so small. I'm like, my graduating class was pretty much half the size of his town, which is nuts,
So when did you move out?
I left the house at 17.
Okay.
17, but I came out to California and then I went back out to college, UWM. So I'm walking for a little bit here. Yeah.
So wait.
So hold up.
Okay,
I understand where this thing's going right now. So were you raised in money?
No.
Were you raised in money?
No.
Okay, so who found money first? You were in banking and mortgages first, and that kind of led to, you were in appraising.
We did it together.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, we did
Together.
Did you want it always?
Yep.
Did you?
Yes.
What made you want it from a small town with a Piggly Wiggly?
Because
of the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, my parents, Midwestern, blue collar workers. That every day of my life, I heard about not having money and being credit card debt, and hearing no to everything. So for me, I said I never want to do that in my life. I never want to do that to my family. So I'm going to work my butt off, so I never have to say no and never have to worry about what's in my bank account.
So
Was that your same story?
I mean, similar. I grew up single mom household. My parents divorced when I was a kid. And so, I just seeing that experience and what my parents went through, what my mom went through. And, it was tough being from a foreign country with 2 kids on her own. Yeah. And, my goal was to find a partner and to do it differently than what I saw them do. So when we met, our goals really aligned because we wanted really to be a power couple together. We wanted to build and create something and be a partnership, not just a marriage. We wanted to be partners in everything.
We actually said that date 1. I told her I want a power couple. On date 1, we manifested this. So it was always a thing. I said, I don't want a woman to stay at home. I want someone to rise with it, build an empire together. Because I'm a workaholic and no person that doesn't work would be okay with me. I'd be honest. They'd be driven insane because we're nonstop.
Right.
So she's like, I want this too. So we've always risen together and, pushed each other to the heights.
So who delivers the magic of the vision?
Ooh, I would say Daddy's big picture.
I'm visionary,
things.
and she makes it look pretty, and she's the ops.
Yeah,
Okay.
I clean it up.
Okay. Well, we've been around like we were with Aleyna and Grant and got real clear about the fact that Aleyna is the magic sauce behind, meaning my wife does the same thing to me. It's like I'll work
I
real
cast
hard.
the visions and I found my workhorse.
So it's both, right? So you guys are both working hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so how have you managed to stay married while running a business together? Let's start with the female perspective. Because the trend is to build, blow up, affairs, cheating, and disconnection and dysfunction, hence my entire neighborhood. Third marriage, fourth marriage, billionaire, married like 4 or 5 times. So what has been one of the things that you have found that have allowed you to stay not only building together, but also connected?
I think date your wife.
Yeah.
Right? For us, even before we had kids and even before we started our current business and since then many others, it was always important to spend quality time together and to really connect just, outside of being business partners, outside of living together, outside of being parents, we're still Chris and Aleyna. Like we're still wanting to have fun and continue to get to know each other and to grow together and experience new things, travel. I think for us, that has been a huge part of our success in our marriage.
Yeah.
And also not taking everything so seriously. Also, laugh together. I think laughter is huge.
How old are you guys when you met?
24.
20. How far apart are you in age?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm
Really?
2 weeks older. Oh, really? I'm like, I'm
Heard
a
about this
cougar.
finally.
2-week cougar.
We've tried
likes
to work
killing.
together, but it's tough. That's why when I see people that work together, I'm like, how do you do it? Please share the magic. Like, because it's like you go into this role where you're like wife role and then you're like boss role. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we'll be in business conversations and I'll be like, talk to me like your wife. And he's like, well, we're having a business conversation.
See?
Like, how does that work for you guys? Do you have to separate those roles?
I mean, go ahead, maybe, because we just had that
Right?
exact
Yeah.
statement where I was like, "Listen,
Yeah.
I'm your wife.
Yeah.
Time
I'm
out,
like,
real quick.
calm
Time out,
it
your wife.
down.
I'm not your business.
Yeah.
I'm not your business partner now."
Yes.
We hear that a lot. We're actually working on a TV show right now called Power Couples Vows to Ventures, actually, with Glenn and Mindy as well.
Cool.
And that's the concept, how to run a business with your spouse. Business is business, like making money is making money, but keeping your physical relationship alive, being good parents, also business partners. So for us, like we push each other to be our best in every avenue and we don't let each other slack. So if one of us is not keeping up on their fitness, we'll call her. Call it back and forth. And I tell her anytime
like,
I'm
baby, you're a little
slacking.
soft.
Yeah, because
Is that
at the end of the
what
day-
it is?
He hasn't called it out for many years
Not
now,
many years,
but
yeah.
one time he
It
did,
does.
and I was all,
You're like,
damn
what?
it, you're right.
But we told each other that's a deal between us. If one of us is slacking in business or fitness or parenting, like we just call it, because a lot of times what people do is they say nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then you start building that resentment and you start getting irritated about it, and then eventually it snaps. So for us, it's like we push each other to be, the best or 110 in everything we do. But we've always said, for couples, big thing is make money. Both of us make money and contribute. So you never have that back and forth, I'm doing more than you or you're doing more than me kind of situation. Our bodies keep in shape for each other to keep our attraction alive. We always stay in physical shape. We work out every day. We communicate. And don't loan money to family, and then you're good.
That's give
Or if you
money
do,
to
don't
family.
accept it back. Don't think it's coming
Give
back.
money to
Yeah.
family. Yeah, gifting is what we call it.
Yeah.
We figured that out a while ago too. Okay, so back it up. How did you even come to a premise that this makes sense? Because I've trained over 65,000 men, and I've dealt with 65,000 marriages, and I would tell you this is an anomaly.
Yeah.
The things you're talking about are
Having
things guys arrive
standards
to.
for the
Like,
relationship,
Mhm.
having
Yeah.
standards for yourself and expecting your partner to rise with those standards.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just going to grow apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that what you just said. It's like, hey, you came into this relationship like we're going to grow together, and these are the standards. And so if you're slacking, it sounds harsh, but you're like, I'm going to call you out. How do you go about like calling him out if he's slacking in an area?
It really happens, but yeah.
He's, he really does keep himself in check. But I think both of us, that's what we're there for. We're there to remind each other, like, hey, maybe today we, cut down some of the hours on work because I can see you're stressing. Maybe we just take a little step back. I think for us, it's always been something that we've talked about. It's never been a mystery. We haven't held our feelings back and then held resentment. We've always been very upfront and forthcoming with what we expect as individuals, as a couple, as parents, business partners, all these things. It's not just business and money. It's also how to run the house, the doctor's appointments. It's, family time, quality time, date nights. There's a lot that goes into a successful relationship and marriage. And, there's going to be ups and downs, but what's important is to learn from it, learn from it all.
Yeah.
Who runs the home?
We split duties. Yeah.
We're both neat freaks.
Yeah.
Our kids are such neat freaks that you'll find our kids with vacuums now around the house randomly. Not joking.
They make their beds 10 and 6.
We're
Our
OCD
kids
about
are
everything.
young, but they
So it's
make
kind
their
of
beds.
it's like a group effort, even with like the home roles.
We involve them. Tell them about the magic erasers.
Oh god, yeah. We have magic eraser night at my house because we have this huge white walls everywhere, right? So it
With,
drives me nuts that there's
crown
marks on it. So
like-
I'll put on music in the whole house. We'll get the magic erasers. We go through about 15 boxes.
Oh my god!
It's a family night.
We'll knock it out. We'll knock it out.
It's a family cleaning day. Yeah.
Don't worry. If you want your children corrupted quickly, send them to our house for a Saturday. We'll go swimming and they'll learn how to pick up nothing.
So I feel like I'm very
Our
neat,
children
but
are
you're
giant
not. So I had to
tornadoes.
just let it go. Like I was like, we have one daughter that's super clean. Then we have one. We open the door and I'm like, oh, just go ahead and shut the door. But it's I had to choose my battles. I was like, I'm not gonna. I yelled at her for a solid year, and then I was like, it's just not gonna happen. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
So I just kind of shut the door. But we don't have magic eraser nights. That would be great.
There's the shoes, cars. They do it all.
Shoes. Oh yeah.
That is
Oh,
so
like
great.
on your white Nikes.
Yeah.
Well,
Perfect.
we especially teach the kids. That's one thing. Coming from nothing, I've always respected the things I have because I earned them, right? And as I teach my our children, it's like
Our
child's.
Or jail.
This is, we paid for this. You need to respect this. Take care of your things, and that's what we teach every day. Like this, I always say that don't take this for granted, right? And we worked our butts off for this, and this
Right.
you have to work hard every day to maintain this, and we take care of our things. I told Conrad that last night before going to sleep. Yeah.
That's good. So what was the background? Like what were you reading and studying? Who was mentoring you back in the day, back in your 20s, that had you even be thinking this direction?
No one ever really mentored me. I think I learned a lot what not to do through my parents. I love my parents regardless, but my mom is kind of like that hoarder / with new things, not gross hoarder, but I've got brand new shit everywhere and never use it, and not organized. So I was the kid when I had invited friends over, I was embarrassed. So I was when someone comes to my house, I want to be like, this is my house. I live here. And so I think I became really about that. My mom does have amazing style though. So she kind of got me in the fashion stuff as well. Aleyna's mom loves things as well everywhere.
I think for us, we grew up together. We were 24 when we met. We're 38 now. And so I feel like we just learned a lot about life and who we are and what we want together,
Right.
which was really, really cool. He's my best friend and I love spending time with you and I love coming up with great fun ideas and improving our life and our mindset. And, it's cool when you get to do it with your partner.
Yeah.
It's really cool. You get to learn a lot together.
So most couples lie, and they lie in a couple different ways. They lie in just blatantly saying bullshit, or they just hold things back.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't make it 14 years being 100% honest the whole time. So Chris, at what point in the game were you withholding things that you wanted or things maybe you weren't expressing fully? And what were those? I've yet to meet one couple that's pulled off. You guys could be the magic unicorns. But as growing up together, there's no way at 26 you were as conscious as you are right now.
No way.
So at 26, and then you add kids in the mix, and she's pregnant twice, and babies are in the mix, and now sex changes, and the game changes, and that's typically where all the affairs happen.
Yeah.
That's typically where the marriages fall apart. That's typically where the chaos and the carnage and the resentment starts. And then we deal with the guys in their 40s, mid to late 40s, who have been through 2 decades, and the women have been holding this resentment from the beginning. Go back to 20s, mid 20s. What was it like growing up together in your mid-20s, finding this level of honesty that you two have right now?
Well, like you said, we've been very honest. From our first date, I'm not joking, and we're not lying about what I said. I mean, we walked around, we got a coffee because I was like, I'm not gonna. I never took anyone out for dinner because if it was bad, it was bad. So coffee and a walk.
Well, first of all, we spoke on the phone for 2 months before we actually met.
Okay.
So we talked and we got to know each other before we actually really met. Yeah. And then I kind of was a creeper outside of this place called Extraordinary Desserts.
That was a lie. I don't eat desserts. But I told her
it was the first and last time ever. And I was sitting outside in the car. I was like, is he real? Am I being catfished? Because back then I didn't know. There wasn't FaceTime or anything. So I'm checking him out. I'm like, oh my God, it's him. And then we sat down. Within 5 minutes, he's like, I'm not playing games. This is what I want. And like just laid it all out the way that
we started walking around Balboa Park, and I said, listen, I'm never going to be the guy that gets off at 5 o'clock. I'm never going to play video games. You're never going to have to motivate me. I'm not the person that's going to drink. I'm always going to push forward. I can't be around with someone that's not healthy, doesn't take care of their body.
You said that right out.
No, day one, not joking.
You're like so romantic, sold.
Well, I was kind of overdating at that
But you
point.
had already talked. Yeah.
We talked, but I just figured, because how many people lie about it, and then 6 months you're later, you're like, oh, I didn't know this, and I was like, I just want to skip forward. So I just said, if you don't want, and I put it all out there. I'm a neat freak. I'm going to build an empire. I am a workaholic. I'm not going to stop. If you don't want that, then I'm not the guy, and that's fine. That's great. Whatever. And she's like, no, I want someone to motivate me. I want someone to push me. And I'm like, well, you got the right guy. And I'm like, all right, we started dating. That's kind of history. But we said power couple from day number one. I'm not joking. We always laugh about that because we're big about manifesting. But we've always had big goals. Like I have always known that I was going to do big things, and I'm not done. I'm just getting started, and we're just getting started.
So how many fuck ups did you have before her that led you to this awareness and this power?
I mean, are we talking about relationship fuck ups or business?
The only way you get to that kind of clarity, you're not born with it.
Yeah.
You like come to it through pain, or you come through a process of like, well, that didn't work, and that
at 24
didn't work.
to know that's what you want, like is like I
It
met
was
him at 25
exceptionally
and
mature.
I met him at 25 and I was 18.
Yeah.
And there were, I mean, it was not like that at all. We were
I was not
I
that
was like,
clear.
are you gonna buy me some tacos tonight? That'd be great. I don't have any money.
He's like an old soul. Like he was not into partying and drinking. Like he
Because I was
did that.
bodybuilding then. When I met her, I was a bodybuilder. I didn't drink.
He was
I didn't
very
go out.
focused and disciplined, and he always has been. So,
What age did you start bodybuilding?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't really dating then. You were dating bodybuilding.
I was. Yeah, it was during the week. I was working in school. Like during the week, even when we first started dating, I told her Monday to Thursday, it's my it's work time, school time. And I'm gonna eat my Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts with stevia.
I told her, you can't come over because I eat my Brussels sprouts. I'm bodybuilding. You want to come over anyways. But yeah, during the week, I was work. And I said, I'll see you on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But during the week, I work and you get things done.
Was that hard for you? Like knowing, like he comes out as like, I'm a workaholic. Because I feel like women need that. We need time.
Yeah.
And so was that, but at the same time, it's like, it's very sexy if a man wants to provide.
Yeah.
So it's like, it draws you and it's attractive. But then you're like, but wait, when do I get time?
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, it was definitely something I wasn't completely used to. And it took me a little bit of time to get used to his drive, I guess, because I hadn't been around that. I didn't have that in a father figure or really anyone else in my life. So it's something that I also wanted because I wanted someone that was not going to be a lazy POS. Like I wanted someone that was actually going to drive forward and want to improve their life and, improve our family's life. And so I felt like it was the right decision, although it was hard, I think, in the beginning to get used to someone working all the time. But I also feel like we were able to balance each other out with that. Like, yeah, he says workaholic, but also, there's a time and place. Like, I know that he's driving towards a goal. And then I know that, there's those moments where maybe I can kind of bring him back and be like, okay, time to chill for a second. Yeah. So we bring that balance to each other.
Well, when we first started dating, like our time difference was like, she was off early because she was working East Coast time. So she'd be done like 2 or 3, right? And she'd be calling me. I was like, what are you doing?
I'm like, you want to go to the beach? You want to this? He's like, no.
I'm like, and I had to work till like 9 o'clock every night. Like her friends all thought I was a drug dealer because I was driving nice cars and I was working all night long. He's like, what is that going to do, right? And at that point, I was personal training. I was running 14 to 16 sessions a day. Wow. And that's kind of how I built, the income to build our lending company was just off of sweat labor, literally. So for her, she'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, you should do something else. Go to the gym, go get another job, do whatever you want. And then eventually she's like, all right. And then she started, getting really busy and getting another job and getting into fitness and, started making it happen.
So what's workaholic look like now?
Not much has changed. I mean, I spend time with the family is number one. Like
we take the kids to school every day together and pick them up together. I don't see any other couples that do that. And so for us, family is number one above and beyond everything.
We try to make every kid event at school and the games. My parents never showed up to anything. So I try to make a big point to show up for our kids for their sporting events and
we do a ton of
family
family date activities. We saw Imagine Dragons last weekend.
Awesome.
2 weeks ago.
Took him to a soccer game last night.
Yeah.
It's like crazy when you don't live a normal 9-to-5 job. It's like you really, those drives to school and things like that, that's when you can connect, you know? There's times even with my nanny, she's like, oh, I'm going to take him. I'm like, no, let me take him. Because even that 15-minute drive to school is like just time to connect. And so it's like, as long as you have like moments of that where you connect, it's like you kind of know, like you're building this mission together and you just have to have these moments of being connected. It took me forever to like figure that out with Garrett, because I wouldn't like see him like all day. Like he'd be gone and he'd be working, and then I just kind of almost unplugged. And I am guilty of like the whole resentment building, but I didn't like fight for his time back or little moments. You know what I mean? Has that been something that's been important to you guys? Is just have, even though you're working a ton, is just creating those moments?
You know, you brought something up that kind of flashed me back to before we started our mortgage company, because before we started our mortgage company together, he was gone a lot of the time. So he'd be gone by 6 a.m. I wouldn't see him until 8 or 9 at night. He was training real estate, doing all this stuff, but it was outside of our home. And so, you know, I remember those moments where I was fighting for more attention and more time. And, you know, that was definitely a topic of conversation more. But now it's completely reversed. We're together 24/7, like with the kids, working together. Our offices are in rooms next to each other. So it's a totally different dynamic. But it works for us. You know, I know for a lot of people, maybe it doesn't, but for us, it's fun. I can just yell across, hey, what are you doing?
Well, at the end of the day, we have the same goal. Right?
Yeah.
We're a family. Like our goal is to be successful as a family and for our children. So it's like when you're building with your partner and you're building something together, that's for us, that's what's made it really amazing. And a lot of people don't do that. Like one person feels like they're doing all the work, another person starts getting resentment at certain times. So, you know, we're always trying to, like, we're starting new companies. Aleyna just started a brand new company. I just launched a new company as well. And now for the first time we have our main company, and then she's got her own new thing. I have my new thing. So we're kind of in our offices, like what happened today. Even though we're next to each other, we have follow-ups.
Like, what's the recap?
We both started new things at the same time. So it's different, but it's been going well.
New chapters.
So building anything big comes with the dark side.
Yeah.
Not one human being's ever built anything significant without dark shit. And no couples have ever built anything together without dark shit, because it all starts blending no matter how much. And right now, up to this point, if I'm listening, I'm thinking these two are plastic perfect. Meaning, I don't mean plastic in the sense that this is the challenge that we've run into. It's why this show works.
Yeah.
And it's why the couples come on here and everybody comes on here, because there's the appearance on social media. If I just look at you two on social media, beautiful, beautiful, kids are great, you're great, everybody's great. And so everybody thinks, I'm going to build this and it's not going to have any problems. There's no darkness to my game. And they used to look at us too, and they would look at my wife, because she wasn't, before the podcast, she wasn't really involved publicly. So people just see her, she was beautiful, regal, we had the money, and they just thought, she's kind of like too perfect. Too perfect. Yeah, behind closed doors, when shit's going sideways, you guys are in the mortgage industry, shit went sideways the last 2 years. Everybody I know in banking and everybody I know in real estate and all my guys in that space were hitting the brakes, firing people, letting people go, making shifts and audibles. You have to, because the whole fucking game flipped upside down. Talk to me, Chris, because dude, I'm around dudes like you all day. You are driven as fuck. There is a dark power you have to pull that shit off. So talk to me about the dark side of building big shit as a man.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. The last 2-3 years has been pivots, especially in our business. And we pivot like no other. That's the reason why we're still in business, to be honest. Like we built... Awesome. Like everyone said in the residential, I went into commercial while the refi started slow. I said, okay, we got to build something else. We got to bring something else to our team to make money, help them make money for their families. We need to take control. And that's why I dove into commercial. A lot of my competitors are now getting into commercial after they seen what we've done with it.
How long ago did you guys pivot? 2 years ago? Year and a half ago?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. Good job, man. Well done.
And now I love commercial. And then, but getting everyone else to understand that's a whole different level. But yeah, we had some moments where we moved things around. We had to cut things down for our team, but we didn't lay off. Like we were very fortunate that we pivoted things around to keep our team making money. And they're like family. We're a big family company. We have hundreds of people that work for us, and we take it personal. Like we don't want to ever cut people off. And luckily and through strategy, we kept everyone. We lowered it down temporarily. We brought them all mostly back up to where they needed to be, and we started to excel and grow again. But the commercial was a huge pivot for it. We had moments where like, oh my God, we're gonna lose it all. But I just worked harder.
Talk to me about that moment. Listen, dude, every guy who's ever built anything, I was in mortgage, I didn't pivot. I had 127 salespeople. I was in the game up in 2000, 2008.
No. Those are good old
Right?
days.
Yeah. And that was a big boom, just like the big boom. And when that shit went sideways, we fucking lost everything.
Yeah.
We didn't pivot.
Yeah.
I was in the darkness for 4 straight years.
No.
She was pregnant with our second daughter, had an emotional affair, was face down in addiction. Like, this shit's happening everywhere. So people hear, oh, we just made a pivot.
Yeah.
When the truth is, 80% of the industry got fucking crushed in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah.
They can't pay their bills. They've never made money in anything but mortgages. That was our whole crew.
Yeah.
Nobody ever made money in mortgages. I wasn't a good enough leader to pivot. You were.
Yeah.
You hit the moment where you know you have to pivot.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that moment. And this is what I'm looking for in this, because when people listen, the challenge is everybody thinks you're perfect, we're perfect, and it just is going to be smooth sailing. Rates are always going to go this way. Real estate's always going to appreciate. There's never any chaos. There's never any problems. And maybe our solution is we just need to do, what's it called? Magic eraser? Magic eraser night. That's the magic.
I mean, I'm not against that.
When you know shit's not going to work, and if you keep going, you're done. And you got to pivot. Like, talk to me about those weeks and making that decision.
So here's the biggest reason why we've remained successful. And I've told her this from day one. Even when things were amazing in 2020, when things were blowing up, we have never stopped self-producing, ever.
Right.
We're still the top producers for our company. I've never stopped selling ever. And she told me, even when it was busy, like, hey, we should stop originating. I'm like, no, we're not stopping, because you lose your edge. I always told my loan officers, I think the last call, I said, listen, if you all leave me tomorrow, Aleyna and Chris's lifestyle is Aleyna and Chris's lifestyle based on our production, not on you. I don't need you to produce. So it's not an offensive way. I love you to be here, but I show up. I'm a leader that actually practices what I preach. So for me, I just worked harder, dug deeper, really took commercial by control and really learned the ins and outs of it. Got rid of the daisy chain, went to direct funds, like private $1 billion family funds. I work with 33 private funds now. We're direct with Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, Chase. And I just started really just harnessing that. And the people that pivoted and started working with it, they saw great success.
How did you pivot the darkness?
What's that?
How did you pivot the darkness?
I outwork it. I'll be honest. I'm not a person that sits there and goes, for me. My whole life is
So you feel it and then you do what?
Move
action,
forward.
always,
Okay.
always.
So you feel it, you're fucked. And then what? What does your brain do? It goes right to build a strategy to get out?
Yeah, I build quick. Well, I remember I told her, I brought her in her office, we have to build this. This is the thing that seems logical in our business.
Awesome.
Bring it on. And then we started building the platform immediately, and then told our company, this is the pivot. You guys want to stay here? You want to stay in this business? This is what you got to do. It's harder. You're not selling refis anymore. They're goodbye. Anyone can sell someone to save money. It's not a hard salesperson to save people money. I always tell people, you're not true. So 70% of our business left. Now, at the end of the day, the people are here today and still in the business. We got market share. Let's go. Right. But you can't quit when times get tough. But we also built, properties. We built investments. We have, rental income. We didn't sit there and go, this is all my money for mortgage. No, we're entrepreneurs. We have many ways to make
Side
money.
hustles.
Yeah. We have many businesses to
If one
make
goes
money.
down, you're like, well, we've got,
And that's another thing. Is never put all your eggs in one basket. If you're making a lot of income for something, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, one day that can be gone. Then what are you gonna do? You have to actually have a personality. You have to have talent.
Right.
Right. And a lot of these people today that make this much money don't have either.
Yeah.
So once it goes, they're gonna be like, what is going on with my life? So for me, it's constantly learning, educating, pivoting, and moving.
Do you always trust his leadership? If he's like, babe, we got to pivot. Do you question it, or does it make you nervous?
We have a lot of these conversations together. So, when that moment came where we're like, we need to make a decision and we need to make some changes because our industry is changing. That was a conversation that had to happen because we made it happen because we were keeping an eye on how things were going. We weren't just letting things just roll by and not paying attention. Yeah. So in those moments where we see, changes, we're like, holy shit, we need to make some changes now. Our industry's changing. We need to change.
Right.
And so those are conversations that we're very clear about. When we need to put our business hat on, we do. And that doesn't get confused with our, husband and wife hat. So I think for us, we always make it a point to come together. We talk about what's happening in our business and our personal life. And I remember when we made these decisions to say, okay, we got to cut out these certain things that we're doing. We got to add these additional services to our business. And we have to have certain tough conversations with some of our staff. Those are hard things to talk about, you know?
And we were in tears. I mean, talking to our staff.
Well, because everyone is family, you know, like you're in charge of a lot of people's life and money and livelihood. So that's a lot of pressure, you know, it's a lot of pressure as a business owner, but you also have to be the CEO or COO and not just the, you know, with the emotional connection either.
I love that you're even sharing that, because I feel like so many business owners, they'll, you know, save everybody else to save face. They don't want to admit defeat. And ultimately you have to do what's right for your family. So if you go in with that frame, then you're like, hey, it still hurts. Like I just literally let go of I just fired 7 people, like my whole entire salon team. And I was like, I knew it was the right choice, but I was still sick about it. And you take so much heat from it, but ultimately you're like, this is going to go down either way, and you're going to lose your jobs either way. So I'm going to course correct before it goes down. But business owners don't. They literally like think it's like persevering, so they hold on to something that's like drowning.
Going down the ship.
You can't go down the ship. That's not going to help anybody. Smarter. So I feel like entrepreneurs oftentimes get painted as like the bad guys. Have you guys experienced that inside of like building what you have together?
Well, I mean, it's sometimes even like posting. Like I used to hate posting anything on Instagram because people look at your life and your cars, and they work for you, and they're like, oh, must be nice.
Well, it's the
you almost like you can't.
No one, you know, you post the fun stuff a lot of the times. But it's good that we're talking about this, like you're saying. Like not everyone talks about the darkness, right? About those moments, and that's what makes you real, and that's what people can connect with.
There's been times where it's like I bought a pair of cute boots, and I'm like, I better not put this on the stories because like my same thing, like are the employees going to say something? Am I going to feel bad? And I find that people that have a lot of success stop doing that. And I'm like, but why? I'm like, why hide who you are and what you've built, you know?
Well, I think there's a way of putting things out there where we're not saying, hey look at me, I'm a douchebag, look at all the nice things I have, right? Like, hey, like I'm like, hey, I got a brand new car. I don't put, like, people see me in my car, they'll see me in my car, but I'm not like, hey, look at the new thing I bought. You know, I don't like that vibe. Certain people do that. And that's fine. That's their thing. It's just not my thing. Like I have things, people that are my friends know what I have. I don't need to go, hey, this is all I own. This is my properties, her purses, whatever it is. You just wear them and they're in photos.
My purses.
Do you have a closet for your purses? Do you have a closet for your purses?
Maybe.
Do you have 5 closets for your shoes?
No, but one day.
One day.
One day.
My wife, I have no clothing in our master bedroom.
Literally.
I have a small closet down by the gym in the basement. My wife has taken over the entire.
I know. It's something that I've always liked. You know what I mean?
That's why they're moving. They have a new house for a closet.
Exactly. We just moved for another closet, and I was already told I'm banned from that closet. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to a different question. So, while the tears are there, while you're having to confront all this, here comes the interesting transition. So you got the business owner hats on. You have the kids, and you have you two, which existed before the mortgage company. You're starting on this one. Talk through how you two navigated the love life, the connections, sexuality, communication, intimacy outside of the business during that time. Because most couples we've met, most guys in particular I've worked with, they get so focused on solving the problem, they completely disconnect. You're in the business, so it makes a difference. So I mentioned how did you handle it outside? Like what went down with intimacy? What happened with communication during the stressful time? Some people reach out to us and be like, oh, easy for you to believe in Jesus because you got everything working. I was like, bro, I was believing in Jesus when shit was not working. And they're like, well, we didn't see that. I was like, I put it in all my books. I publish it everywhere. I tell you all about the bullshit I went through. Told you what that feels like. For you, as a woman, safety and security sits at the core for a woman. Feeling seen. He's a workaholic. Shit's chaotic. He goes into war mode. You're right by him in war mode. Now bring me to the house. What's happening at the house during that season of change?
Well, our office is upstairs.
Okay.
And so we just walk down the stairs, and you know, it's home life now. So it's you know, you work together, you live together, you have the kids together. It's easy to combine all those into one. So, you know, I think one thing that has been different for us over the last 2 years, maybe since chaos in our industry has happened, was we've been really, really focused on mindset. That has been at the absolute core of every morning of everything that we do, is how do we improve? And we've been doing a lot of like frequencies. We've been listening to a lot of frequencies. So I think being really self-aware in those moments for us, and, it doesn't make a difference, doesn't improve my life if I'm going to bring my work home with me and take out on everyone else around me. It doesn't. But it's, it took that to happen maybe a few times for us to realize, hey, maybe there's a different way that we can approach this. And so, for us focusing on mindset in the very beginning of the day, and then a reminder again, it's now just become who we are. So it's not like something that we need to flip into anymore.
Is it a routine?
Yeah, what do you do for mindset?
Yeah,
like
what's
in
the morning look like?
Workout.
Okay.
First thing.
Yeah. Okay.
First thing in the morning, it's working out,
Do you work out
cardio.
together?
Yeah, he's usually up a little earlier than I am.
Okay.
But really just getting into that mindset right from the beginning of the day, and gratitude. I know we hear it all the time, but just being grateful for the wonderful life that we have. Like
Is
the
that an
fact
actual
that
process that you do, like a gratitude process?
yeah.
Like, how do you do that? Like, what is it? You write it down?
I don't have like something specifically like written down or guided. I just wake up with the intention of always being happy and trying to see the best in things and in everyone.
Is it like mantras you're saying in your head? Are you consciously thinking?
Consciously thinking, and it's not just like certain affirmations that I'm repeating. It's more just, I don't know. It's just kind of just become who I am now. But it took a while to get there. I would listen to certain podcasts or certain affirmations. I would just drill it in my head all day. If I was washing dishes, if I I was driving, this is like years ago. Washing dishes? You wash the dishes, actually. He loves to wash dishes.
Of course he does. He's OCD and he does it
You
with
should
an
see him in
outlet.
the
He's like,
morning. After we work out, he throws his towel on his shoulder and he's wiping down everything. He's vacuuming.
Naked?
I'm getting the kids. I wish
Naked washing?
if the kids were in there. Yeah, that'd be
I've got a
better.
little towel on the shoulder out of the shower, babe. Come on to the kitchen. I'm going to wash some dishes for
After
you.
the kids go to school, maybe. But in the morning, the routine in the morning is so important.
Right.
So I think, we've really made that a point over the last few years, and now it's just kind of become who we are, which is really interesting to kind of say that out loud.
Do you, Chris, is your routine different than hers in the morning for your mindset?
We're very similar. Like the biggest thing that's changed for us has been the frequencies. It sounds weird, like
You listen, like actual listen to frequencies.
So
Yeah.
like
I know. I was like, what
tones?
is a frequency? Like,
So like on Spotify, I'll send you some as well.
Okay.
But like for instance, every night when we sleep for the last 2 years, we listen to 453 hertz.
32.
432. You're right. 432. See, 432 every night. So it doesn't sound like
Was
doesn't
it-
sound
was
like
like
a
a
TV
buzzing
frequency.
noise
No.
or-
It
oh,
sounds
okay.
just like tones.
very calming.
Because that's
Okay.
Earth's frequency. So you got to think of everything around us, all these electronics, your cell phone, the towers. Everything is messing with your frequency all day long, right? All the water in your body, 70%
Yeah.
is throwing off your vibe. So for us, we reset every night for 8 hours with these like light frequencies in the background. And then when I meditate, I listen to 963, which is like is basically
The frequency of abundance.
or the God frequency, and it's your third
There's
eye.
all these really cool
third eye
names for them.
frequency.
Yeah.
They're interesting.
cool.
You guys should look into
But it sounds like voodoo, and it
No,
sounds
it's awesome.
like
We love
No,
this shit.
we're
We
into
love this
that.
shit.
We're into
dude.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
That's why we're asking around for
Yeah.
ourselves. We're like,
Yeah.
what? Wait, tell me about these frequencies.
But it's weird now where we think the same like 95% of the time. It's creepy. Like I'll be thinking something and she'll say it and vice versa
Yeah.
all the time.
all the
And I'm
time. Like, get out of my
"Damn it."
head.
Yeah.
you can look at him and you're like, I just read your mind.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like we
it's,
do.
It's almost getting weird, but romantically, like we are in the best place we've ever been. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
tell
good.
my friends, like they're like, you guys still love each other. You guys are
Oh,
still active. I'm like,
obsessed.
Yeah.
we're like
even
now it's
better.
it's more intense than
You
it's
have
ever been now.
it sounds like you guys have like a same mission, and so you're working towards that. But then even like I tell him all the time, I'm like, I can tell when our frequency is off.
Yeah.
And then when our frequency is on, like we look at each other and we're literally like so attracted to each other. And I do believe you can transfer thoughts. You're like, I was just thinking about taking the kids. Da, da, da. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I put that in your head. But I think as a couple, it's so important to work to stay like, again, on that same frequency, because that's when you start to drift apart. So it's like you guys work together and you find these moments, that really keeps you together. Because I think it's like, entrepreneurs are crazy and they work all the time. And it's not realistic for any of us to do a 9-to-5 thing. That doesn't mean that we can't be connected, right? It's just, this is the path we've chosen. We've chosen, this is our path. And so we have to find different ways to connect. Do you guys do vacations a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been like big for us. Like we used to never vacation because there was a period of time where we just didn't see the value in it. And we weren't connected. So the idea of taking a vacation together, I was like, oh, I have to hang out with him for a week. This is like in the dark days.
Yeah.
And now we've realized like vacation, especially with no kids, is just a time to have fun with your best friend. Talk to us about that. What have you guys found vacations being helpful for you and like to help reconnect?
Yeah, vacations are big. We kind of balance it, right? So we do kids vacations. Like we go to Cancun because, the kids love the same thing over and over again.
Or Hawaii.
Like the normal stuff with the kids. And until they start eating food, I'm not taking them anywhere exotic. I've told them that. Like they won't.
We're taking them to Italy.
We're not taking them to Italy. Until they eat Parmesan, they don't go to Italy.
Yeah,
right?
they get the all-inclusive like the kid trip.
We found that too.
And then we're very lucky. Elena's mom is like helps us out dramatically and lets us go on vacation. And like, she's been that rock for us. If we didn't have her, we wouldn't have a social life, to be honest. So we're very thankful to have her in our lives.
She's the best.
But we try to do one big trip a year as a couple. And we're going to Dubai in a couple weeks.
Nice.
So we're excited.
So fun.
Dubai and Jordan.
Nice.
I'm going partly for business. I'm part of YPO. I joined recently as well. So we're going out there for conferences, but it's going to be Dubai and Jordan, which we're excited about for about 10, 11 days. So we're excited about that. So each year we try to do a big epic trip,
one.
and we remember it.
And it's also the experiences that you get to share together. Like we went to Egypt. Did we just go? Was it just Egypt? Oh no, Egypt and our Egypt trip, did we just go to Egypt?
No, that was 2 years ago. Last big
Was
trip
it just Egypt though?
No.
I'm losing my mind. So we like he stood on a camel. Like we rode camels by the pyramids of Giza.
Yes.
And
Nice.
we, did an amazing Athens trip for his birthday. And
We
went
did
to,
that one.
That was great.
and went to
You guys look
Turkey.
Egyptian there.
And we're going to be the Pharaoh and Cleopatra for Halloween.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
But I don't know, those experiences, they're incredible because you also just get to spend time one-on-one, right? You get to put away all the stuff that goes along with the house and business and kids, and you just get to hang out.
Yeah.
And
How
that's
many
like
days
the
were you
real
there
quality
before
stuff.
you both unplugged from business and kids, and it's just you two?
I was going to mention that earlier.
How many days?
How many days do you think for me?
No, you're almost instant. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like on the plane. I'm like, bye.
Well, I see you
Just sitting in
I'm
business,
into it.
like flying out
How many
already.
days for me?
Oh, he's like 3 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys have to unwind
Yeah.
in the business
Takes me
brain,
about 3.
Yeah. I'm like, can you just
3.
chill? Nothing's
Yeah.
going to happen
We'll be
right
sitting at
now.
Cabana looking in the water, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a call. And wait, there's only so much water I can look at. I'm sorry, it's beautiful.
that's it.
I gotta
It's
do something to
literally
feel like I'm
Friday.
doing
Yeah.
something.
No one's around. No one's.
I have to plan activities like beach trips for him. He does the same thing. He's like, I just got to take this call. I'm like, you said you were going to take any calls. I swear he like creates calls because he's so bored staring at the water. You're like, oh my gosh.
I'm like, hey, do you need a call right now?
Literally.
I feel like you accomplished something.
I'll call you in 5 days. I'll take this.
Well, you know what I tell him now? I'm like, baby, we're gonna go to the beach for a week, and he goes, well, I'm like, you can make
You're like,
you
you're
can make your
fine.
calls. You can make your calls that you want. I don't care. We're just
Yeah.
be in the cabana, make a few calls, deal with it, but then you're coming back and you're putting the damn phone away.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Exactly.
it. So like if I go in with that, then he's like, okay, fine.
Because then he can get a little work in, and then you're like, that's fine. I'll be at the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
By 5 days, I'm out. Like
Yeah,
by 5 days, I forget I have
you-
children. By 5 days, I forget about my businesses.
We have to take 10-day vacations because it takes him halfway through.
I stop texting anybody. I'm like,
But those have been
straight
like the
vacation
funnest
mode.
times though. That's
it's
when we just like
amazing.
goof
That's
off.
when we're just like literally regress back to who we were. Meaning it's who we are, but like it's who we are without any encumbrances from business.
I
kids,
do
and,
love
like,
when he finally gets to that point where we're just doing backflips off boats and just we're just having fun. We're like at that point, but it takes him a few
5
days to
days.
get in. So did you guys? You have success now, but when you were first married, did you have success when you were first like married and dating?
He definitely had a little bit. He had more success than I did, I guess, individually.
Yeah.
But
I was doing. I mean, as a personal trainer, I was making $350 a year as a trainer.
great
I
as a trainer.
Yeah,
I
as a
always had
trainer.
nice cars.
young
I always had nice
20s.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always hustled. I mean, I've always have. So yeah, I was doing decent.
And you were in the mortgage industry when you met, or no?
I was in the mortgage industry, but I was on the other side when we met. The mortgage industry was just starting to flourish again. So it was, right around 08, 09, right? 2010. We remember those days, the dark ages.
Right,
the dark
right.
ages.
And so I was more in the kind of bankruptcy on the other side of it, the side that was flourishing.
Yeah.
So I was focused on that. And then once sales came back, I moved back into that.
So you guys didn't ever, I mean, you came together and you never really had any moments of like severe like struggle or anything financially, because it seems like you guys are both producers.
We've always risen for the most part. The last couple of
Yeah.
years, it wasn't like obviously a rise time, but we didn't fall. But for us, we just outwork. I always try to outwork that from ever happening. That's my mindset. It's like there's always, I'll make it happen. Regardless, when the company doesn't do well, like I'll bring in the deals.
If you don't stop growing, you can never really go back.
Right.
We got crushed.
But
that was like, I didn't have the mindset. I didn't have the skill sets. I didn't have.
I was so young, but I mean, we feel like we've raised each other in a way because we got together so young. But
when we got crushed,
but it does. Money does make a huge difference in a relationship. When we lost it all, that was like our darkest time. It was like we had to really challenge our relationship of like, hey, do we still want to be married? Do we even like each other? You know what I mean? So we kind of had to go through this process of like rebuilding. And I feel like people will like see the success we have today, and we're like, well, it was kind of a roller coaster to get here, And so I think it's interesting to talk to other powerful couples about like what works for you guys to keep it going so you don't lose it, right? And it's just like you're saying, staying on the same frequency, creating time together, taking the trips, and doing all these little things. And I think in marriage, a lot of times we think like, oh, I don't have to put effort into it and it should just be okay. You guys are producers and you understand that it still takes effort to have this relationship, which is beautiful to see. We interview like so many people on this show, and we're like, you look too perfect. Come on, you look too perfect. Like
the AI couple.
You know what I mean? But it's like you can see you've put in the work. And so I think that's what is important to focus on, that you guys have put in the work personally and professionally.
Thank you. I think we've focused on kind of maxing out all the time. And maybe that's something where maybe I'm getting a little bit more close to burnout, I guess, maybe, where I'm like ready to not burn out, just change directions, or I'm ready for a new chapter.
Well, that's where you just start your
and
new
that's
thing.
why I started a new company, and that's why he's also ready for a new chapter too. So,
But we're back in, you better be ready for burnout mode. We're in growth mode again right now. And hustle mode with our new companies.
What I mean is we've always been like, as you would say, 110% with our business, with our family, with prioritizing. And we've had those moments, of course, like everyone else has, but I feel like we haven't given it the time. Haven't dwelled on it. And we've just always looked for solutions, which is maybe, something really unique about our story. But yeah.
I'm excited to see you two both hit 40. There's a distinct shift in life that will happen at 40 to 42. Happens with 100% of the people.
For men or women or both?
Both.
I was like, I'm 41.
It happens for both. I watched it happen to her in the last like 2 years too. It's an interesting shift because everybody grew up with grinders, hustlers, build, and then everybody. And I do a lot of guys in their late 40s and guys in their early 50s doing 300, 400, 500 million a year. The priorities of life start shifting, things you care about. So there's like the push in your 30s, there's a push in your 40s, and there's a push in your 50s. I'll be 50 in a year and a half. Right. So it's like I think about the world totally different than I did 12 years ago. Come to a topic with me that is mission critical, so mission critical that we launched an entire brand on it just to serve the men and warrior called Paid and Laid Protocol. We had a women's event just a couple weeks ago. We had men's events happening all the time, and part of it is filling out applications as entrepreneurs, so we get some data on you about what's your situation, etc. Over 75% of the entrepreneurial couples struggle with sex and intimacy, meaning it is either sexless relationships where once a month, or you have people who are going, as fucking wild as this may seem, beautiful people who are having sex like once every 3-4 months. That's how we feel about it. We're like, what the fuck? How are you still together?
How are you married? How are you?
I had an idea one time. I told Danielle like 6 months ago, I said, I got an idea. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to make a test. I'm going to go and not have, what do they call it? What's it called when you, celibate. I said, I'm going to be celibate for 2 months. And she's like, you're going to find another wife. I'm not going 2 months. So
he was like, I'm glad you answered that way. I was like, why would you do that to yourself?
Hell no.
So talk to me, Chris, from your perspective. When you work this hard, you either get the energy of, I just want to fuck. That's the closer game. I don't care about connecting. I need a release. Or you just work so much you're too tired. You don't care to fall asleep. Which I watch both happen to myself. I watch happen to guys too. Are like, where you at? I was like, dude, it's not that my wife doesn't want to. I lay down. Tired. I'm asleep and I'm up at 3 o'clock and I'm going again. I'm just tired. What is your frame on the conversation of sex and marriage?
I think we do a pretty good job, to be honest. I think at this point.
But what's your frame? As a man, what is your frame about sex and marriage? You're married to a beautiful woman, and you grind, and you're workaholic, and you have kids, and you're running teams, and you're just launching another business.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That takes sexual energy to create. Yeah. So, like, how do you think through the idea of sex and seducing your wife?
We make it a priority. I mean, there's not a week that goes by unless something's really horrible. I'm traveling. Like we're pretty on it for the most part. We're
pretty active.
To be, like I told you how OCD we are. Like at this point, if you put us, like if we separated and we had to go date other people, I guarantee we would never find anyone that we'd like because we're so meticulous about everything, like care, clothing, vibe, energy, teeth, like we're skincare, like it's ridiculous. I told my friends, well, if we were split up, like I would be, I don't know what I'd do. It's not going to happen when it happens. So for me, that's my mindset.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do, so it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's honest. She's my best friend. She's like my lover. Like yeah.
So sex is required then.
Oh, for sure.
110.
Well, it's
110.
not just on his side, on my side too. It's just as important.
Yeah.
Okay, talk about
For
that
sure.
because the other thing we watch happen for women is they put it to the side of he's busy, I'm not going to bother him. And we've had couples here whose marriages ended and they're here with their new partner over these situations. We've sat with couples in our offices. We have couples fly in and sit in our homes in tears and shambles over this, which is the woman's not saying, I want this as much. Because a lot of guys just figure, wow, I'm the one that wants to fuck all the time. I don't even know if she wants it, which is totally false from our experience of watching women when they wake up. So what's the push from your side?
I think
to connect with them. Let her answer. Let her answer.
Sorry, I was like, hold up.
What is the push from your side? Because we have a ton of women that listen to the show. More than half the listeners of the show are women that turn the show into their husbands. And they're listening because of perspective you. They like us, dude, but they're like, they're dudes. What has allowed you to own your sexuality in marriage with your husband?
I think a lot of it comes from being confident in yourself, in your own skin, in your own body. And I think that has really started or been there for me because I've made my body a priority, not just from the outside, but from the inside. And, when I exercise, when I eat good, I feel good, I look good. And that then translates to everything else, right? To being a wife, I'm more interested because I'm confident in my body, right? I feel good in my body, and then he also really does a really great job of making me feel wanted, and it doesn't have to be like the big things. It can be little things like we can't walk past each other without touching each other's butt, even if it's just like a little love tap, a little poke, a credit card, like whatever it is, front, back, like we can't walk. And if like he's walking up the stairs and I'm coming behind him, he'll immediately swat behind him because he knows that I'm about to go for his butt,
I'm not the only one.
So we're playful like that all the time. And I think that also helps out, so
I think, well, it's interesting that you said, like, you take care of yourself. When you feel confident, it's a very powerful role.
Yeah.
Like I tell him all the time, like we'll be in the kitchen, I can just look at him or flash him or whatever. And he's like, I hate yours. You have these superpowers. I'm like, but I think that for women, it's like you have to be confident in yourself because then you realize like, it's fun and it's light and you can flirt and sometimes it's like you're disconnected and I'm like, hey, we just need to go have sex right now. And it's very important to like bond you. And then sometimes it's fun and romantic and flirty, So I think a lot of women, I understand what you're saying, but I think a lot of women, they don't. And it could start with something as simple as like taking care of yourself so that you feel confident for your man and can be that woman or that wife.
Exactly.
I'll add something for the female listeners.
Oh God.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
It's the pajamas are an issue, okay? If you're wearing the horrible pajamas around the house, and your husband doesn't want you to see you, and it kills the mood, right? If you're wearing a Snuggie, it doesn't turn us on.
It's the comfortable clothes or the top knot bun hanging sideways.
Like
we all do it. We all do it.
You call them. We call each other. I mean, I think after our first child, there's a moment I'm like, can you like put some effort into it? When I show up at night, like some lingerie, some music, like And show up in the sweatpants.
He was honest about it. So then I was like, all right, I took that up as a challenge. You know?
Okay, so now we're getting into real talk.
But here's
now
the
we're
crazy
getting
thing.
into some real
I
talk.
don't know, you may not know this. There's days where as a mom, you're like, did I look in the mirror today? Did I brush my teeth? Like, what's going on? But when I know he's coming home, I know this sounds crazy, but I'll go put on my cute jammies. I'll put on a little bit of mascara just so I look like I showered today.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's like being conscious, like, hey, my man's coming home.
Right.
Because when I do that, I'll put on this little tight fitting jammy outfits and he's like, you look hot. And I'm like, I literally just changed out of my Lulu pants. Like, I just put this on for you. Even though I look casual, I think it's important to I don't even know if you noticed that.
Oh, I know.
I've never told him actually this, but I do.
noticed.
I make an effort. Like when I know you're coming home, if I look like garbage, to like put a little bit of like, even if it's just
Same.
mascara, I'm like, okay. Because I
It's
feel
the little
more
things.
sexy.
It's the little things like that. You know,
Right.
it doesn't have to be a full glam session. It just a quick little, you know, hit on the thigh or whatever, a cute little kiss. Like,
Right. But
it
I
makes
love
all the
when like,
difference.
and you can probably attest to this, but I love when he looks at me like, oh shit, that's my wife.
Yeah.
So I think that's very powerful. So I want to make sure that he's always looking at me like, oh, you caught me off guard. You're my wife.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, little things like taking care of yourself and making that effort. And I think a lot of women are like, they might be resentful or all these things. And like he's working and they put that, they're not winning.
Right.
You know, in that
What's that gonna
situation.
fix?
It's not going to fix
Not gonna fix
anything. So
anything.
it's like, instead of harboring this resentment, it's like, hey, he worked long hours.
Right.
Put on something cute and go tell him he's the man.
Right.
And it took me years to figure this out.
Sometimes you just gotta stroke the
Years.
ego
Yeah.
for
Years
a
to
second.
figure this out.
Yeah,
Years.
like I didn't realize. I'm like, this is a superpower. Like he'd come home and I just like literally like, come after him because I was just mad
'Cause
he was working all
gone
the
all
time.
day.
Yeah,
Yes.
with the kids. And I'm
Right.
like, and then I was like, that doesn't serve anybody because
Right.
if I show up in a way where he feels
It
like
was bad.
seen, now
We had
he
a rough
goes out of his
decade.
way to do little things for me during the day or whenever it is. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
So I'm happy you guys have been
you
able
guys
to.
definitely figured it out before us. I
No,
mean,
I'm really pressure testing the
we
shit
had
out of you
moments
two, and
like
I'm
that.
like, all right, they are real. Okay. They're just fucking AI people. They're like super fucking dialed in. I'm like, who downloaded the hack into their brains? This is bullshit.
we've
We
had-
got fucked up for 10
we've
years.
had a couple other
We knew it was
couples.
a hack.
We've had a couple other couples on this show, and he's like, "Man, I really tried to get him, but that's just really who they are." I'm like, "I know. Why are you trying to get everybody?"
We were live. We were at a comedy show like 2 weeks ago in La Jolla, and the guy.
It was date night.
Date night.
Date night, 'cause
And
we
the comic
have-
started going on us, of course, and then he's like, "Look, guys, it's the first AI couple ever."
Oh,
And I was laughing.
Okay, so
I'm like,
here's
that's
another-
a compliment ever.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it is. You guys are great.
He's trying to crack you.
we really love the lingerie game. So like it's a thing. We'll go shopping for lingerie.
Yeah, it's fun.
Honey
We'll
Burdette.
go. What's the place we go in Vegas?
kids
And
in there.
it's where
my
they give
God,
you the
who told me?
champagne.
Oh, Agent Provocateur.
Agent Provocateur.
That's fun.
Ooh,
Same
been to this
experience.
I've
place?
never been there. No.
It's amazing.
They'll bring you champagne.
And
it's
you're back
fun.
there. She's
Cute.
trying them on. It's a thing. Is lingerie like a part of your guys' game or no? Are you a fan of it?
I like it. He's just like, it's a waste. I'm just gonna rip it off
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
I mean, a nice thong. I'm a
No,
happy guy,
yeah,
typically.
a neon colored thong. That's
Simple.
That'll do. Just that though. That'll do.
Yeah, I was
Don't put
gonna
the rest
say.
of it on. I just want the
It's just
bottom.
coming off
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Just get some simple panties.
Yeah.
Well, I love dressing up, so I'm like, this isn't for you, it's for me. Like,
Right.
I know it's gonna come off. I don't care.
Right.
We've gone down some fun paths last like 5-6 years. We like tested a bunch of stuff.
There was at one point though, you were like, he was like worried about me spending money on lingerie. I'm like, I'm not doing it anymore. Then you don't get it. You're getting sweatpants tonight,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, I think it was like a $1,500 per lingerie outfits.
Well,
where I
those
was
ones
like,
we-
you're not wearing these enough.
I realized
for
that,
us to
so I
keep
went to
racking
It's the ones
Victoria's
with holes
Secret.
everywhere that's supposed
Yeah,
to
I
be
was like,
covering.
okay.
But we love them now, though. They're like a part of it. Okay, kids. What's Mama? What's the theory here with the children? How do you navigate running 3 companies, being together, still being, and you guys don't have full-time nanny?
No,
No,
we do
so
not.
is Mama full-time nanny?
Who? My mom?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Part time.
Who's
No.
with the kids in the afternoon? If he's working till like 9 o'clock,
Me.
you're with the kids after?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're all home
Because they're in
together.
school now, so they're older.
Yeah. So our kids are 10 and 6. Our son's 10, our daughter's 6. So they're in school together. They're off, afternoon. And then usually we have soccer practice twice. So I'm, the new family Uber. So taking soccer practice. My daughter had ballet, but, that's another story. She's given me grief on that. But yeah, usually it's me. We have found a way to really separate tasks, and this didn't just come easily. It came after a lot of headbutting and a lot of I'm doing more than you're doing less. I'm taking care of the kids more, and you're not doing enough. And after those conversations is when we've really separated roles. And I think also, not holding, like, there's going to be times where maybe he's doing more than I am and maybe I'm doing more. It doesn't always have to be 50-50.
Right.
We're all working towards the same path.
Right.
It's all going in the same bucket at the end of the day.
Right.
And family, life, food, doctor's appointments, work, errands, all that shit is, part of our family role. So, we do a really great job of, giving each other jobs and who's doing what. Like, he does the dishes.
Does he make you feel appreciated when you do like the mom role?
Yeah, he cooks me dinner every night.
Oh.
She cooks for the kids and I cook for her.
He's an incredible chef. Like, for Christmas
French.
dinner, he cooks for the entire family.
Healthy
It's
too.
crazy.
Healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So usually it's me with the kids. When they were smaller and weren't in school, I definitely did have someone at home that would help me. Absolutely.
Yeah,
It was
little.
absolutely impossible to grow and start our business without having help with 2 little ones.
Right.
But the cool part is that I was home all the time. I wasn't gone anywhere. I was home. I was building at home. So the dynamics definitely changed a lot.
Right.
But yeah, I would say for the kids, it's primarily me during the week. And then on the weekends, we make a big effort.
Do you
the two
work
of us.
while they're in school and then you're kind of doing the mom role?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
And kids.
Yeah, on the kids.
Yeah, I mean, they're around us all the time. So they'll come into my office and hang out with me with clients. I'll be on Zoom calls and I let my kids come in. They're very well behaved. I want to see them. I want them to see us working. Like, they understand what hard work is. The other day, we had our 11th anniversary. Took the kids out. It was more of a chill day. So we took the kids wine tasting with our driver, went out for the day. And our son Conrad pulls out his wallet at the end of dinner and says, "Dad, I'm going to take care of the bill because it's your anniversary and you always have to take care of us." I looked at my son. I'm like, it was a proud dad moment. I'm like, my friends don't even pull out their wallet in front of me. So this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Cute.
Obviously, they let them pay, but like we really teach our children like what it is to work hard, and they understand it. And now it's like I told him in the house now after he turned 10, I was like, "You got 8 years. You got to move out." He's like, "What?" I'm like, 8 years. You're out.
I'm like, stop it. Stop saying that. Dad is not moving
We
out.
were so strong on that with our 17-year-old, and we're finding ourselves as she's almost 18. We're not so strong on that.
It's tough. So I told him, I said, "Listen, for now on, your currency is doing chores in this house. So if mom and dad tell you to do something, you do it. There's no crying. There's no whining. Like, you live a multi-million-dollar lifestyle, and this is the best your life's ever going to be the next 8 years. I promise you."
Do your kids ever? So it's funny because I have one daughter who she's almost like embarrassed by our success. Like, she doesn't want to like show off too much to her friends. Do you experience that with your kids? Are they like?
I think they're a little too young.
Young,
to start
yeah,
for
she's not
that.
quite the
Yeah.
middle school
Yeah, I
game.
was like, it was
Yeah.
weird.
They're starting
When
to
my
get it.
one daughter became a teenager, all of a sudden she like didn't want, and I was like, I will never apologize for the life that we have built.
Right.
And even now, she's finally started like having friends over and things like that. But it was like really hard for her, and she didn't want to go. I'm like, you're gonna living in this lifestyle. You're gonna feel like some friends are gonna use you.
Totally.
Like flat out. But then you're also going to have some friends that are really true friends, So it's been interesting raising teenagers in abundance, and I'm really scared for the toddlers. But
But it's gonna be hard either or. If you have no money and resources, it's
Yeah,
hard. If you're
exactly.
rich and you feel bad about it, there's always something. I'd rather
Right.
be in the opposite. Have money and be worried about
Exactly.
those other mistakes than not.
yeah.
Our kids all sat us down right here, my son, my daughters, and they had a conversation with us about the difficulty of being our children.
Yeah. I was
They're
like,
all being in this wealthy environment around so many wealthy families, and then also the pressure because we're so public about our lives. They're all, you don't even know the weight that we carry in trying to be your children and
Yeah.
the standards that everybody holds us to that no one else gets held to. And I'm like,
Expectations.
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
And we had some friends of ours sat down with them, and like a couple of my son particularly, and said, "Hey, listen, your mom and dad are king and queen. You're never going to be normal.
Yeah.
Your princes and princesses are going to inherit the kingdoms they're building. Like,
Yeah.
you're never going to
But
be
I
normal."
do think it's
Yeah.
important to talk to children that are raised in this way that like you don't have a normal life.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
your friends wish you were you and you wish you were them. And it's never like you said, it's like
Yeah.
there's always a flip of the coin.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he was not raised with anything.
Nothing.
And I was raised in like
Cornbread and powder milk.
my parents are both entrepreneurs, and so I was raised in abundance. And I for a long time while we were married, he would be like, you have such high standards. And I was like, I will never apologize for how I was raised and the standards that I have. And I married you because I knew you would hit those standards with me. And when I framed it up on him that way, he was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I think that women, it's our responsibility like to see something in the man, and we're like, this is my standard, and I chose you because you are my standard. Talk to me about that. And I know we're probably like running over, but do you feel like you hold him to a standard and you hold her to a standard? I mean, he does with me now, but
Yeah, we have this talk a lot. She got mad, like, you know, I'll get a little short, you know, if I explain things a billion times, and then she's like, you talk to your clients.
I'm like, if it were so and so, you wouldn't be talking to them.
So this is one of the things we go back and forth a lot of times, and I always tell her, well, babe, I hold you to a higher standard than everyone else. You're my wife. You should know this. So like when I get short,
keyword wife.
wife.
So that is one thing, because you explain things all day long to people, and you answer your phone like an amazing person. And she's like, oh, that's Bob.
Like,
you sound so nice to Bob. What do you have?
What about me? Just nothing.
Literally. I was like, you talk to all your employees like that? And he's like, yeah, I do. I was like, really?
No, you
Even the
don't,
female ones?
yeah.
I've never heard you talk like that ever.
Right. And that's the time
we
where
just
the roles
expect
can
the
be
greatness from you. We know we married you. There's a reason why.
You can handle it. But I think it's almost like I would say it's a comfort thing. Like you're so comfortable in your relationship and you don't notice your tone until you're like, hey babe, can you watch your tone a little bit? I'm your wife.
You're literally repeating what I said yesterday. Yesterday, because he's working on this crazy cool project, and I ask him questions, and I know, you know, he's locked up in his tower. We call it the tower, and he's on calls freaking all day long. And I'm like, can I come in the tower?
Chris, I like you a lot, dude. I already know you, dude. I got you written on the wall. I know exactly what we're doing. We keep going.
Hello, can you tell me what's going? So what happened with this? And then he's a little short with me because he's repeated it 1,000 times. And I'm like, listen.
You're like, listen, buddy.
This is wife. You see this here? This is wifey. This is not.
Well, I also don't like. There's one thing in business, like I don't get too excited about a deal until it's done. Like she'll start spending the money before it's there. Right? She's like, when that deal closes, and then the issue with me is with our relationship is she'll start telling me she wants to do things, and as soon as she starts telling me that she has a goal, it becomes my goal. So I want to redo the closets. I'm like, oh God, if I can do the closets, I do this closet right tomorrow. And she's like, no, I didn't mean tomorrow. I'm like, you made it a goal. Don't say anything to me.
He's very focused on He's very focused on like the goal forward. And if I bring anything up as this is an aspiration, this is something maybe I want to do. I want to something. In his mind, he has to. Like pave his way towards it. Yeah, exactly.
That's how we're built.
No, I know, but that's like men though.
Tell your friends how bad your life is. Tell them your husband does everything too quickly, right away. I feel bad for you. He's too efficient.
Well, you have to be careful what you tell him, because you're like, wait, I was just like kind of, it was an idea, it was a concept.
Exactly. I'm just, just chit-chatting.
But when you girls spit that vision into our warlord world,
you're like, we got to put it on the list.
Receive your vision of this would be fun turns into, how the fuck am I going to get this done with everything else I'm doing? All right, recalculate. Boom, fine, here you go. And off we go. And it happens. That's why when I was asking, like, who controls the magic of the vision, because oftentimes, in almost 100% of the relationships that we're around, the women are connected in a way, spiritually to God, in a way that men are not. And they're able to see a vision in their men. Like one of our friends, Mark and Kendra Jennison, that run I'm a Comeback, they're actually moving here in January, taking over our training facilities with their group from Wisconsin. Nice. Finally moving out of Wisconsin. We're so proud of them. And Kendra will use a phrase, she's like, I'm a gold digger. She's like, my job is to mine the gold out of my man. Like, I'm not trying to chase him because of his money. I'm a queen harvesting the gold out of my man.
Bring the brilliance out of him, you know? But
so how does this will call be our final little topic. You guys have done great. we'll just punch in at the frame, seeing where you're at, and now we're all settled in and having a good time. Talk to me about God. Talk to me about universe, spirit, power, whatever it is for you two. Chris, start with you. Like what? Because you two definitely, the frequencies, your energy, you could not pull off what you're pulling off with just will. The only way you're staying together, this connected, and I've been trying to punch in holes, see if I can find some bullshit. You guys legitimately are legit. I'm like, wow, good for you two. I'm proud of you. You don't need me to be proud of you, but we deal with a ton of people. You have avoided so much fucking carnage. I cannot tell you. That doesn't come about because you're just strong-willed. There's another superpower that you have access to What is this superpower that you have?
I told her coming up here, I was going to get this question, and I was like, how am I going to answer it? So I was raised Lutheran. Okay. My parents were not very religious, but they wanted me to go to church regardless because of the ethics and morals. And I'm a big believer in everything that religion is. That society works on rules. We need rules. We need conformity. We need fear of doing something bad, so ramification. So in that aspect, it's there. At this point, I think both of us are more, and I think she can speak for herself as well, but we're more about energy. We're about being a good person. Like, I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your race is. Just be a freaking good person. Be a person of your word. Take care of people and be honest. So, and I'm very honest about that. I don't care about those things. Just be a person of your word. Take care of people around you. Show up and try your hardest. That's what I care about. And for me, I try to help everyone in my circle, everyone outside my circle. Like, for me, going above and beyond when I meet people, if I can help someone just to help them, I'll do it. And that's me giving back. Like, me motivational speaking or helping other entrepreneurs, it's giving back. I don't make money from that. I don't sell these things. Like, everyone's like, you don't monetize your Instagram. I'm like, no, this is me giving back because I never had a mentor. So that's for me powerful. And it gets like, when someone calls me like, Chris, I listened to you. I started a business. Thank you so much. Like, that's my high in life. Yeah. Like, I don't get anything other than I helped that person and it was genuine. So for us, it's frequency, it's energy, it's just being good human beings. And here's the one thing, like, regardless religion, I don't blame anyone for my lack of success or something goes wrong. I don't go, why did you do this to me? How dare you? I don't deserve this. And I don't go, thank you so much for everything that I achieved. I take ownership of my success and my failures. And I don't blame anyone, or in any case.
How long have you been meditating?
I've been, like, the last 4 or 5 years, been really focused on it that way.
More intense.
What was the bridge into meditation for you? I've been meditating like 15 years. It's like mission critical to everything we do.
Like I said, it's just really taking ownership of my life. I just see a lot of people put blame on. They just want to blame one person or one thing, and
then you can't be accountable.
And I don't see that. Like, for me, it's just no. It's up to us. It's up to me. It's up to everything we do. I don't blame anyone for anything. So I started getting resentment that people that take that too far. Right? Yeah. It's God's will. It's God's. I'm like, no, it's your will. He gave you free will, so you're doing what you need to do. Just be a good freaking person. So, like I said, I just want people to love each other and take care of each other and try to be their best selves.
Did you were you trained in meditation?
No.
You just picked it up, just listened to, like, you listen to guided meditation when you meditate in the morning, or you listen to just frequency and just grounding yourself?
No, like frequencies and positive, like, mindset and just affirmations for myself. And, for me, it's, if I have a goal, I just focus on, I can achieve anything I want to put my mind to. One day president. No, Jack. She murdered me. But I really do believe, like, if I really want to do something, I'm going to freaking make it happen. And I've seen it. I've seen it in our lives. I've seen other people do it. Like, I meet, like, people like Glenn Stearns, like, come from nothing, a kid at 14, see what he's accomplished. So if you really want something, you put out that energy to every person you meet, every person you talk to, and you freaking put action behind it. Don't just talk, put freaking action, 110 behind it every day.
I think that in life, it's crazy because, like, success doesn't always equal happiness. And I think that what equals happiness is truly serving other people. Like, impact and reach, it helps us individually grow, and then it helps everybody else individually grow. And so it's funny because even, like, with where we're at and, like, my hair brands and things like that, when I, like, kind of stopped working, I almost got depressed. I was like, wait, it's because I stopped serving. I stopped impacting. I stopped showing my light to other people and turned to help. And so I think that's really what this world is about, is impact and reach. So I love that you just kind of shared that. You're like, hey, it's a high. You're like, if I can help you, then it fuels me. And it helps you always have this passion and this purpose beyond just the money and everything else that's going on.
Aleyna, how about you?
I mirror a lot of the same things that Chris said. We're very similar in a lot of ways. I think I do a lot more, kind of guided meditation maybe than he does. I know I listen to a lot more podcasts and things of that nature. And I follow a lot of, Instagram feeds of people that give me that kind of motivation. Right. And, my family grew up kind of semi-religious. My dad, Jewish, and my mom Catholic, but there was never really any unity in religion at home. And so, kind of found my own way with that. So definitely a little bit more spiritual. At the end of the day, I think I can create my own path. Like, we're our own creators of our life, of how we feel, what we do, and what we do with it. And so for me, it's really been focusing on, kind of creating the life that I want and who I want to be. Because you don't always have to be the same person you've always been. You can always improve and recreate yourself. So, having you in my life has been amazing because you've been such a great inspiration for me too. Like, he's such a great inspiration. He really is such a good person. And I watch him give back to people and want to help people around him. And he doesn't expect anything back in return. Awesome. And that is such a beautiful quality in someone. Yeah. And I'm just so grateful that I married it.
I love that you just said we are our own creators, because most people, they won't even let that sit in. And because they don't, then they cannot create.
Right.
Because you're not accepting that you are your creator.
Right.
So it's Garrett and I were raised in being Mormon. We don't practice that anymore, but we had to like shatter like so much that we were taught, because it just didn't feel, we're both very like spiritually in tune, and it didn't connect with us. And I think that everybody has their path that works for them.
Right.
And so you have to find what connects with you, So I just love that you just said that we are our own creators.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
subscribe to that same truth.
Yeah.
The same truth. There's a lot of people with what you're talking about is people hide behind God.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a really challenging frame for most Christians to even come to terms with this idea that you're hiding behind God. You're hiding behind Scripture and justifying away or blaming or believing that you didn't have, God gave you power and dominion in this world to create. And your responsibility is to bear fruit. So if you're sitting around and your life looks like shit and you're saying that God's cursing you or Satan's cursing you, no, you don't work.
Right.
You're the farmer. Thousands of guys in the Bible study every single week, which Christ was new for me in the last 3 years. Even though I was raised in Mormonism, I was raised in a very religion-based relationship with a checklist. So I never really had a relationship with God. I just had a relationship with a checklist. Well, 3 years ago, I'm watching Vikings on the deck of our house here on the third floor. She's pregnant with our youngest daughter. I'm smoking a cigar. I'm watching Ragnar Lothbrok, like 8th episodes in, and he gets baptized a Christian. He's like the pagan Viking king. And I'm like, had this moment where I was like, felt something. I was like, what is this? Now, this went against everything I was standing for, which is like, I am not, fuck the church. I want nothing to do with any of it. For me, it was just this pure thing. I called it the voice for over 12 years. In Warrior, we just called it the voice, the voice, the voice. So our Muslims and our Christians and our Jews and then a whole bunch of people that just want shit to do any of it. We just called it the voice, and it worked for all of our guys for like over a decade. And then there came this new truth for me, which was like, hey, this thing might actually be for you. Now, she doesn't subscribe to things I subscribe to, and that's great. But there's a power inside of all this, which you're demonstrating, which is you're finding wisdom inside of the word. And the word happens to be your frequencies that you're playing every single night, the connection that you two have. Like, it's a parent. Like, my job, I get paid a lot of money to beat the shit out of people's frames. So, like, I'm trying to find cracks in your game, putting you in a pressure cooker, and I'm telling you, as two human beings, well fucking done.
Thank you.
Because you can't fake this pressure I'm putting on you. You'll break at one point, and then your vibration will change. Yeah. I'll find my entry, and I'll go right in.
He's always looking for his window.
Everything for you, too, is like so on point. And that cannot happen unless you live in truth and you live in the Word. And the Word is not the Bible. People look at this as a Bible. The Word is truth. And you two live in it. And you found wisdom in it. And then you found the third most critical piece, which is you both work. You're going to do something with this wisdom. It's not just we lay around listening to frequencies and we hope the check show up.
It's like you gotta be careful when you say manifest, because you're like, that doesn't mean it just pops in your lap. You have to work for it.
On it.
And the last piece, which is wealth, like it's a result. So like your body's a result of work based on wisdom found in truth. Your marriage, wealthy, driven by these three principles. And this is like we deal with so many people. I'm just like, God, will you please stop fucking hiding behind all your bullshit stories? At the end, God has made us powerful beyond measure. We have the ability to create our lives to be whatever they want to be. If it's a shitty life, you create that. Good job. Maybe you can change that. You pivoted because you listened. You listened. That truth, whatever you want to call it, spoke to me too in 2006. My mentors were talking to me. Sell all your real estate, go to cash, reduce your company size to about 10 people, and wait. And of course, I listened to nothing. And then lost everything because I wanted to take the hard path. So you two are amazing humans.
Thank you.
Like, you're both beautiful people.
Thank you.
Your energy and your souls are beautiful, and we loved having you in our house. And
Thank you.
we got to the happy pocket. It's this place where we all get with all the couples that come here where it's like, hey, I really like them. They're nice. They're really good. I like this.
No, this was
thank
awesome.
you.
It was fun.
This was
Thank
great.
you for being here with us.
This is better
Yeah.
than like going to dinner. We got to know
Oh,
like the
totally.
whole story.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, I love
And it
this.
gets a little crazy. Well, you want to wrap it up?
Well, tell everybody who's listening where they can find more information about you guys. Where would they want to follow? Where would they want to go?
Go ahead, baby. Right there.
Right there. You follow on IG CEO Groves Capital.
And on IG too, it's Aleyna Groves, Aleyna.
Drop your new company, babe.
Oh yeah. So I have a new collagen face mask line that I just
Ooh.
dropped, and the brand name is Skin Caviar with a K.
Ooh.
Because everything's
like,
better
I'm
with
gonna need one
caviar
of that.
on
You need
top.
some of that.
Awesome.
It's amazing. It's an overnight mask, and your face is like
Oh.
dewy afterwards.
yes.
It's
I'm
so
gonna-
yummy.
You
I'm
do
gonna need
you do
that.
the mask?
Look at this face.
Oh, totally.
You do. Look at that face. dude.
He's more obsessed with skincare than I am.
So I told her on the website, I said, let's put there a skinist club. And she's all, that sounds racist. I'm all, no. It's people in the pursuit of perfection of skin.
Perfectionist.
Is
Yes.
it for men and women?
Yeah.
Can men
Yes,
Oh,
that's-
okay.
Does
Love
that sound
it.
racist or sound cool? I mean, we're going to have some
cool.
fun.
It sounds
I
cool.
love it.
It's
Hey, I got into the face creams just like 6 months ago, so I'm all about
I
it.
made
Oh, your
him,
skin
I made
looks
him go get
amazing.
Botox. I was like, listen, babe, we're getting older. We got to get this. We got to get this going.
How many units do you get?
Oh, do you?
How many units do I get?
I don't even know. I don't even ask
haven't
anymore.
gone
I'm
in
like,
a while. I got too
just
many
do other
bitches.
things.
Me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just do other things.
I had one time the eyebrows did a fucking weird thing.
Oh, yeah.
But they did like the pointy eyebrow.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I
I
came
think
home
you
and I
gotta
was
see
like,
more. You
what
want a
have
Spock
you
eyebrow.
done to me? And I made fun of myself to all my clients all the time. I said, watch this, superpowers. Weird eyebrows.
Just one. This
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Little
weird. I was like,
arrow.
you got one eyebrow doing its own
I
thing.
call it the Spock. It
was like, you need to go
happened to my
back.
app
Yeah.
one time. It was
Okay,
funny.
well, I was cruising your Instagram, both of you guys. You have a lot of great content on there. Also, you're up to a lot of shit. So you can see their kids. This is one fun thing about social media is you can check it out. These guys are sharing all kinds of pieces of their family, date nights, etc. Follow them. We'll put all the links here with the show down below, as well as a review and summary of today's show. Remember, everything we're doing here in the Date Your Wife podcast is backed up by the principles we teach here at Wake Up Warrior for the last 12 years. Over 65,000 men and their families found themselves liberated at a level they've never found before by using the tools and techniques that we teach here. You can check out a free trial by heading to wakeupwarrior.com today. Danielle has her own show now.
Yeah,
She's got the who's who lining up.
this year I decided I was like, what am I missing out on? I need to get back out there again. So I relaunched my podcast. It's called the Danielle K. White Show. We've had some fun guests on it, and it's just me kind of seeing where it's going to go and to give back and see where it's going to go.
When she says fun guests, she's pretty much got the lineup of like
I've got some good lineup.
25 out of the top 100 people in the
you
game.
know what
like,
you know what it
on her
was?
show.
I got in this space where I'm like, I'm just going to ask and see what happens, and it's
Yeah.
been a fun space to be in. So
Amazing.
here we
I
are.
love it.
Well done. Chris, Lena, thank you so much for being here. My friends, thank you for listening up again. You know the deal. Listen, we do the show for free. We bring in amazing couples to teach and guide and inspire. If you got some people you want to share the show up, you know what you need to do, share it up. And until next week, that's a wrap for this week's Date Your Wife podcast.